Hello, my name is Adina and today I'm going to talk about fashion through history. I'm going to talk about the origins, then about ancient Rome, Greece and Egypt, medieval times, Renaissance, 17th century, 18th century, Victorian era, 20th century, and then I'm going to compare it with nowadays fashion. First of all, the origins. It is estimated that people started wearing clothes between 100,000 and 500,000 years ago. The first clothes were mainly made from natural elements such as animal skin and fur, but it is also found that people wore grass, leaves, bones and shells clothes. The revolution of fabrics came in the Neolithic, when people start creating the woven fabric, which is the fabric that you can see here. Then in ancient Rome, Greece and Egypt, all of them wear similar clothes but they call them with different names. For example, in Rome, most of people wear a tunica or a pallium, which are tunics. The pallium is a tunic with a strap on the shoulder. It could be covered with a mantle. As you can see here in the picture on the left, the woman is wearing a mantle. In Greece, most of people wear a chiton, which is the Roman tunica, or a imaton, which is the Roman pallium. It could be covered with a mantle too. In Egypt, men mainly wore a kilt, which was a white linen skirt and a top of fine pleated robes. And women wore dresses with shoulder straps, and they mainly used linen and wool to make their clothes. Then in the medieval times, poor men wore a wool tunic with a high neck and large sleeves. Women wore longer tunics with semicircular mantle fastening on their shoulder, and they covered their head with a hood, as you can see in the pictures on top. All of them, both men and women, were covering their head with a hood. And then wealthy women wore luxurious traveling dresses and elaborated headgear that covered their hair. Men wore tunic with wide sleeves and krakos, which are long pointed shoes. Then, in the Renaissance, men wore short jackets with big puffed sleeves and grew their hair long. Both men and women wore slashed sleeves, which are these kind of sleeves that you can see on top, which show their undergarments to cuts in the material. For example, as you can see here, the white material that shows through the cuts are the undergarments. Red and golden yellow were popular colors, but only for wealthy people, because these colors show their status. In the 17th century, men began to wear early versions of the suit with short trousers over stockings and buttoned tunics and coats. They started wearing wigs. Because Louis XIV was bald and he started wearing wigs. So all the nobles men wanted to be like the king, and all of them started wearing wigs. Women wore dresses with large skirts, crinolines and carried fans. Mantua skirts started being popular. For example, in this picture you can see the Mantua skirts, which are the skirts that make bigger your hips. And women's wigs were bigger and more artistic than the men's one. As you can see in the picture on top, women's wigs are more artistic. Then, in the 18th century, women's fashion included loose, full-skirted dresses like the mantua and the sac-bang gown, which is a crinoline that women put on their back to made the impression that it looks bigger. They were padding over the hips to enhance their look. Outfits were made out of silk or cotton. Cotton was a new material that come from the West. Men wore coats, trousers, and hats. Then, in the Victorian era, women wore corsets to enhance their silhouette. Hoop skirts and bustles. Dresses were bright white colored and highly ornamented with ruffled lace wrapping or ribbons. Men, they wore plain colored clothes, black, navy, or dark gray frock coats, all combined with checked or striped trousers and colored waistcoats, over stiff white shirt with a cravat. A cravat was a kind of scarf that men wore to show their status. In the beginning of the 20th century, most men wore suits and everyone wore a hat when they went out in public. In the 20s, everyone got rid of all those restrictions, and women started wearing more comfortable dresses and more shorter dresses, as you can see in this picture. In the 14th and 15th, beautiful evening gowns were the most popular clothes and the most popular style. And in the 60s emerged the super short miniskirt and the futuristic fashion, as you can see here. Then in the 70s was the time of hippie clothes. The 18th and finally the 18th was the disco era and the time of showing off your money and status. And finally, nowadays we have plenty of styles with different patterns and materials. We have a compilation of the 20th century styles too, but we like the minimalism too. For example, plain dresses, as you can see here. This dress is it has only one color and it is quite simple. And that's the end. I hope you like my presentation.